How's it going, everybody? Today we are at the Clayton's Disc Golf Course here just outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. This is the number 3 course in all of Tennessee. And today we're going to be checking out this course, doing a little bit of a tournament simulation round. Now, what I mean by that is I don't play a lot of competitive disc golf anymore, but sometimes I like to see where I stack up. So today our goal is to try to get close to 1,000 rated as possible, looking at former tournaments played at this venue and just trying to walk you through my shots and play the course as if I were playing in a tournament and select my shots accordingly. So it should be a lot of fun, should be a very fun course. Let's hop right into it. All right, so hole 1 we're going to be playing a 240-foot hyzer. It actually plays blind, but it's got a really nice built-up green that you'll see once we move around the corner. Looking for a little bit more than a putter on the shot because it does play a little uphill. So we'll probably go mid-range on a hyzer, just try to spike it in, get nice and close. We're just going to throw our rock here. Oh, that's going to be left and short. Not my best work. That was a little bit high and inside. This is probably one of the worst places to land on this hole because, well, not quite the worst, but we're putting at the wrong side of the green. A long putt. Not a very good shot to start today. That's a pretty simple hyzer, and I really fluffed it. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have 11 miles on my legs this morning, so we're just going to see how that prevails, but I don't want to make the excuse, but I did just throw out the excuse on the first shot of the day. Wow. That was uber aggressive. You know, in a tournament situation, I try to tell myself, you know, just give a putt the height, give it a chance to go in. I gave that more than a chance and threw it about 30 past the basket. Not to mention I chucked it down the hill. Now we're just playing army golf. A nice 3-putt tap-in bogey to start. Let's go. All right, well, after that wide open hyzer, hole 2, we immediately go into the woods here. We have to the long basket, and then, like I said, there's a lot of different layouts in this course. It's not confusing, but there's a lot to choose from out here. This is the long pad, the long basket. I think most holes we're going to play that layout. 414-foot par 4, but it's very much a right angle. So we got to zip a forehand up through the gap, and then it probably becomes a pretty easy birdie if we hit the line. We're going to go honey here. Oh, outside line. Well, that hit the initial gap, snuck over to an outside line, which actually put it in the middle of the fairway in a great spot. So I feel very good about birdie here. You know, it's really funny. When I made that really stupid 3-putt bogey on that super easy first hole, I was like, wow, what a dumb way to start like a tournament sim round. Like, that is so silly. But then I thought to myself, Trevor, that's how you start every tournament. Like, I can't tell you how many times I have, like, I'm very known to implode at the beginning of tournaments, just with, like, I don't necessarily get nervous anymore when I do play tournaments because, like, I don't really care as much as I used to. Like, I'm not a competitive disc golfer, but I get amped up enough that I will make some really dumb shots. And so that was perfect. But you know, the best way to deal with that is just make a bounce back birdie and erase it. So unfortunately, we went a little too far in this fairway to where we're lined up at the short basket. The long basket's like one fairway over. So I think we're gonna throw like a flex forehand. It's gonna be a little bit tricky. Just gonna line up our force here. We gotta try and get it over into this right fairway and then come back at the end. This is a tough shot. Oh, I love it. Go in. Sit. Oh yeah. That was a really good line, and I caught a tree at the end that I think kept it next to the basket. All right, we should get a birdie, erase the first hole, move on. You know, it's a good thing it was called hole 0 because you can just block it from the brain. Boom. When I'm playing in a tournament, the 15 to 20 foot putts decide my entire day. Because if I'm making them all, it means I'm converting on my great shots for birdie, and I'm making my par putts, because a lot of your par putts are in that range. So, good sign that we made the first one. Okay, hole 2. Sorry if I confused anybody by forgetting to mention it, but the first hole we played was actually called hole 0 on this course. I'm sure there's a reason for that. I think there's something with like construction, and they have to move around holes on this course. But anyways. This hole is sick. I remember playing this hole last time I was here. The long basket. It's kind of a pick your line, but there are lines. I personally, I think there's a flex forehand and a flex backhand. I like the flex backhand through this left initial gap, getting it to then ride straight down, and then you just got to get the disc to get down before you run out of room. I think this is another rock shot, and it's 330 feet, so this should be good. So we just got to get this turning slightly. No. Oh, that was close. Dang, we're gonna be scrambling. That was close. Tournament golf, in the woods especially, is so much about just hitting your first gaps. If you hit your first gaps, you can make pars. But when you don't, you've got a lot of work to do, and that's what we got cut out for us now to make par. This one's gonna be about hitting our initial gap and speed control. I think we're gonna simplify it and just throw a backhand hyzer and let it push a little with the shaman. Got to keep the disc low, let it slide, but not give it enough airspace to fade way out, because it's still a very downhill shot. And the ground looks pretty bare, so we know we're gonna get some slide, some skip. Oh, that's so good. Oh, I played that so well. Hit the first gap, landed it nice and short, let it slide up, tap in par. That was very well executed. You will make so many more pars if you just take the time to think through those up shots that seem routine, but they can have some nuance and be a little tricky. That's a good par save. All right, we got another short par 4. This course, don't be deceived, it is quite wooded at this part, but there is, if I remember correctly, like there's quite a few holes out in the open, so stay tuned, because this course opens up and gets like insane. And these wooded holes aren't bad. I'm saying for the sake of video watching, sometimes like the open holes, well, there's a lot of really cool open shots later on. This is another shorter par 4, bends to the right. We can try to throw something that turns the backhand, but it's got to move quick. Almost sets up for a roller, but it's too early in the morning. There's also this tiny gap on the right that's just tempting you, because like that's the gap you actually want to hit. The gap I think I need to hit. I think I have to hit that gap. I don't think the outside one's going to do any good. We're going to go stalker. It's tight. It's tight. This is a risk reward play here. We hit the gap initially, but it pulled it too tight and it hit a tree further down there and kicked a little right. I can't tell if that's like jail or if it's okay. This ended up being just fine. I think we kicked a little bit forward off that tree. It seems like you don't have to get super far in this hole, so taking that inside gap might not even be necessary, but in any case, if we could execute a very straight putter shot, we will we'll have a nice birdie look. I think we need to force over something. I think we're gonna go slammer. It is tight, man. There is a forehand line. I think I like the forehand better, I'll be honest. Wow. Oh. Took the forehand even wider than I wanted, but the late tree canceled out my luck, and we'll have a long birdie putt. All right, another one of these long runs. Maybe be a little bit less aggressive than the last one. A little bit floatier so we don't 3-putt again. That's where my brain would be in a tournament. Oh. And by not being aggressive, I babied it and rolled it up to the basket for a tap-in par. But you know, it is what it is. Drive wasn't that great. Hole 4 is yet again a short par 4, 460 feet. We can actually see the basket, which is cool on this one. It's way up there. Once again, I think I like that this course is showing us pick a line type drives, but the lines that are there make sense. So it's not just like there is no line, there are lines. Getting Idlewild vibes from these holes a lot. Like the tight kind of custom line type shots, not super long. We're gonna try and go tricky here. There is a flex backhand, but I like this inside hyzer flip with the underworld. We're gonna try and take it through the right gap on hyzer and get it to fold over. It's a tricky shot, but it shouldn't be too hard on this line. Oh, poop. Wow, black ace. Well, good. I didn't get anything on that. Super early, just died out left. Funny enough, I parked the short basket, but we made good forward progress. So I have a feeling it's gonna be pinched over there, but we'll see. Well, we slid about 40 feet past the short basket to where we're not that far left of the hallway, but it's very pinched. I think it has to be an Anheuser forehand. We just have to get it to pan as far left as we can here and just give ourselves a 30-footer. I think that'd be a good result. We need something without a ton of stability. I think we're gonna go stalker here and just get it high, and we want it to just sweep the whole time it's flying. Just give it height and let it cut left but not cut roll. can be a delicate shot. Needs a lot of spin. Oh, that was pretty good. Wow, really good. Oh my. We'll see if I got the distance right, but I'm very happy with that flight. It panned in sharp left and flat, so it got really as left as we could have gotten it. As I suspected, we went a little bit deep going with the fairway driver there, but really good shot, and we got about a 25 footer here for bird. Oh, man. It's a good thing that low left catches on most baskets because a lot of my putts end up there. That's a very good birdie, getting it under par. Let's build on that. No more bogeys today. All right, yet again, another short par 4, guys. I gotta be honest with you, I had to check the scorecard to remind myself. Now, one thing to keep in mind, there are short and long baskets on this course, so you don't have to play it this way, but I like to play longs to longs. I was wondering why. I went back to some old tournaments to try and gauge the ratings at this course, and we'll reveal where I would rate at the end of this round. And I was like, dang man, people are shredding like these layouts. How are they shredding? Well, I understand now, because there's a lot, even though the course is kind of long, it's a lot of short par 4s. I mean, there's so many short par 4s on this course. Even on the back when it opens up, I just looked at the scorecard. Like, we're about to play another like 3 in a row. And so if you hear throwing your tee shots in play, you're making birdies. But that's a fun style of golf because it's very rewarding to your tee shots. Looks like we just need a long flexing backhand here. Let's try out the yeet from Hooligan. I'm still working this disc in. I think it likes this line. Plenty of airspace to get it turning. Just gonna make sure we give it to Anheuser. Oh my gosh. Holy cow. I don't think you can throw that shot much better than that. That thing had a long pan over, missed a couple little trees at the end, and skipped up to the left. If that isn't like an easy birdie, a jump putt birdie, then I don't know what is. That was a bomb. And I can already tell, like, if you're commenting down below as a local to the course, like, this short basket is obviously a better hole. It's not that much shorter than the longs, and it's a par 3, and it's an elevated, cool basket. But, like, obviously, I've only been out here once. It was years ago. I just don't know these things, so I have to just kind of play what I can see. But I'll of course admit that there are some layouts I'm gonna miss. However, in this case, I'll gladly play the worst layout because I have a jump putt for eagle, which I was hoping I would have. Unfortunately, there's a tree in the way, but it's doable. Oh no. Anheuser putts are one of my big weaknesses. And can't tell you how many times I've thrown aggressive eagle putts and then left it to a much longer birdie putt. That's a tournament misplay right there, because I would hope in a tournament I'd have the presence of mind to be like, okay, this is kind of a tough eagle putt. You can't even really do a straightforward soft run. Just throw it under the basket and tap out your birdie. Now I have to make a 20 footer. That's dumb course management on my part because, like, I'm just not a great putter. Oh, I think you may just be getting a clue into why I don't play tournaments, because like that is just the most boneheaded, stupid thing of all time to make par from 50 feet from the basket. But it's like, that's what a player like me, I know I'm capable of doing that. You got to play the percentages, take the easy birdie. Instead, I got greedy, par. Well, we got another 400 foot, you guessed it, par 4. It's funny, like, you can tell on a hole like the last hole that it was like, okay, they put in the short basket, that's a great hole, and then they just moved the long basket back a little bit, but didn't want to clear out too much. We'll make it a par 4, right? Like, that's what happened. But then there were other holes where the long basket was clearly the better one, and the short was an afterthought. So it was like, did they just design the best hole and then decide if that was acceptable for short or long, and then just toss the other one in as a side item? I think that's what they did. But like on a hole like this where I don't even know where the baskets are, I just kind of have an idea, like I'm gonna take the short par 4 option and just throw a forehand. The holes in the fairways are at least very intuitive. Like, I have not gotten lost out here. Oh, Lanta. That looks really bad, but based on what I heard and saw, I actually think that got through a lot of that garbage. Didn't sound like I hit any big trees miraculously. So this may be another I get lucky situation. Well, the good news is my suspicion was correct. We did make a good bit of forward progress. Bad news is we're on the edge of the last fairway that's parallel. So once again, we're really cut off, and we're gonna throw yet another Annie forehand. Let's try the sweep. Oh. There was like a billion trees in the way, and I was hoping just to get lucky and miss them. I didn't. We do just have a routine jump up for par. I do think you have to get yourself in some serious trouble on these holes to make bogeys, because like they're just not long enough. Glad I put that close, because that felt like one where I was going to say that and then mess up and make bogey. All right, and another par on a stretch where the guy should be birdieing every one of these holes, and we only got one birdie total today. Hole 7 is a 450 foot, you guessed it. Oh, there are turkeys running through the woods. That's a good time. It's another par 4. I did just look at the map to confirm my thoughts. Hole 9 on, all in the open. So we're almost out of this woods. These holes aren't bad, to be clear. They are a little repetitive. This one bends to the left though. How about that? We're just gonna try and push it back in with the stalker. Ooh, that's actually really nice, I think. It got kind of skinny through that one gap. It did just hit me. I remember now why there's a hole 0. It's because hole 11 doesn't exist. And not only that, but to walk from 10 to 12, it's like a quarter of a mile or something. Like, it might be longer. I remember it being a super long walk. It's not really looking forward to that, but stay tuned. I think this is about as good as a drive I could throw, and we got about 150 feet left in, just a hyzer. Should be able to just take it wide the whole way here. We've got really one tree to miss. And I hit a different tree. I hit one that I wasn't even thinking about, and that's a long putt. It's just like, I mean, I should be dominating this course. Holy cow. That's like also like, that is, it's so funny. Like that's such a tournament thing for me to do, is like, when I have like okay tournament rounds, it usually means that I threw enough good shots to play really well. It's just when everybody else is busy executing and like taking advantage of those shots, I just chuck them away. Like, I'll just have like the most boring 950 rated round ever, because I just goof up, man. I'm goofing. Really long putt for birdie. I mean, I would save myself a lot of embarrassment if I just said I'm gonna lay up instead of throwing whatever that was. Wow, really not very inspiring golf right now. Boy, oh boy, look what I'm met with next. Oh, I shouldn't complain though, because this is like an insanely nice staircase, and most courses would be like, well, just walk up that hill. So you know what, I take it back. Well, hole 8, I can see the short basket on this one. And if I remember the bogey rub battle I did here, I think we chose this basket because I think it's just a cooler shot. You got like a little on a side hill, like built up green. Just a nice 230 foot shot. We're gonna throw like a little baby flex with the cash. It'd also be a sick ace, and you know, we're just ace hunters on this channel now. And it turning through the gap. Oh, not enough turn. Get a good kick. Bad kick. If you ask for a good kick, you're gonna get a bad kick. That was a little bit delicate. Maybe that wasn't the shot, because I had to be careful with the cash. It likes to go far, honestly. So if you're throwing on a flex line, you have to be really gentle with it downhill like that, and I had to get a little too gentle. So it's putting, but it's not great. Got like a 30-foot straddle death putt here. Definitely glad we chose this basket. It's way better than the other one. This is makeable. I don't even say it's 30 feet quite. Go left. Oh. Proxies are just a little too straight for that. I needed that to have a little boop at the end. Almost flopped it. But what do we get? Shot off the basket like a cannon, and probably another 20-footer. Since we played a hole 0, that was technically our front 9, and boy, was it uninspiring. Playing bogey free, well, we didn't play bogey free. Playing almost bogey free is like kind of fun if you're at New London. Not fun here. Hoping for some birdies in the back. I mean, we got to get to 5 or 6 under, or we might never be allowed back in the state of Tennessee. Well, here we are. As I mentioned, after all that strife in the woods, we're already rewarded with hole 9, which is a wide open par 4. 565 feet, so they're like, hey, you're not in the woods, you gotta throw a little further now. And yeah, you have a whole field to work with. I think we move a little bit left eventually, and obviously you don't want to flip it into the parking lot, so we won't get too greedy. But yeah, I think we'll just rip out a destroyer. Probably a destroyer. Shots like this can be tempted to go really big, but it's like if I throw just a stock good mush with this destroyer. I might get it out there around 400 feet. That leaves me 165 in. Like, why do I need to throw it so much harder to get 450 feet and have like 110 feet in? There's not a huge difference in that upshot. So it's like, let me just get something out there I know is going to work. And there's a little bit of headwind. Yeah, that's a good pump. I'd maybe like to see it turn a little bit, but that's a good rip. Yep, nothing much left here but a little forehand hyzer. Got to get this up and down. Can't get this up and down, what are you doing out there? You know, why are you playing tournaments? For fun? Surely not. There we go. Those easy upshots in the wide open, they can be tricky because you don't have a lot of reference points. You need to pick a reference point. Like on that shot, I'm looking for a tree limb that I want to start the disc at, because sometimes those open shots, you mess them up because you just don't have anything to aim at. You got to pick something to aim at. That's what we need right there. Lots and lots of tap-in birdies in the back nine is what we want. Hole 10 is a wide open 375-foot hyzer. It's a perfect example is what I was just talking about with aim points. It's really, you got to look for one because there's not a lot of aim points out there, but you got to find something. It's also a good test of my distance because wide open hyzer. So it's like, okay, what do I think I can get there on a hyzer? I think the answer would be a really hard fairway or just like a solid distance driver. I think I'm gonna go distance driver so I don't look stupid. And we're gonna throw it, we can go something pretty stable. We'll go with our force. And I think I'm just gonna start it out at one of those trees. Oh, look up. Well, two mistakes were made there. Really one mistake that led to the other. I did not think that force was gonna flip up. It's really not windy. And so therefore it went further than I wanted straight and it ran into the tree that I was aiming at. I'd like to think if it stayed on hyzer, that would have been a good shot, but it didn't. And alas, we will make par again. Leave it to me to step open to the most wide open field of all time and run into a tree. I think I can say pretty confidently now that I got to my disc that we would have kept that on hyzer, we'd have been on the right track, but it doesn't matter, lay up for par. Should be pretty easy. And then we have a very long walk. Okay, so to my understanding, I think hole 11, the reason why they skip it now is because of this new parking lot slash building they put in, because the tee pad's still there and it looks like that's what happened. But in any case, yeah, I think we have to basically walk like along the shoulder of the road for a little bit. If I remember correctly, like I'm just gonna follow you, disc. If I get hit by a car, you know, that's on me. All right, well, it was a real Lewis and Clark situation. Not really, I kind of remembered the shortcut. I think you can get to this tee pad just walking through the property, but I did remember that if you walk the road on the shoulder and cut in through the woods, there was obviously a cut in where people have done this before, myself included, you get to here a lot quicker. Not a terrible walk, it's fine, you know. This hole is a 600-foot par 4. Looks wide open, but there is long grass. It's mowed down pretty short right now, but that plays as OB. So I kind of want to just throw in the middle, because if I go left, I get pinched off by the trees. If I go right, I get to the long grass. So we're gonna go destroyer again. Okay, that's a very well placed drive, but it's 600 feet uphill, so like we'll have a good rip into the basket, I think. This is actually a very cool hole. I remember this one now. The basket is actually perched up on this big hillside green. Can't leave it short. You don't want to go too far past because I think there's OB. This is actually a tight approach shot. This is a very good hole. It's kind of far. I think I'm gonna go force here. Wow, be good. Oh, sick. Okay, I took it a little lower than I wanted and it went kind of far, but I saw it skip. It's up there on the green and I think there's a bit of room behind there, so I should be inbounds. Just might be a death putt coming back towards that hillside. Pretty good shot though. Not a bad shot, about 30 feet for birdie. Stay up. Oh, it's a really good line. It's just pars, pars, pars galore. That's just what we're getting today. I think this course in the wind would be a whole different animal because it's so exposed out on this back. Okay, so hole 13, we have a decision to make. We've got this tight gap over on the right. That's what we're throwing towards, but it's only 515 feet. And I'd say that gap's about 300 feet away. So I think I'm just gonna lay up to the mouth and then take what I get from there. Because it seems risky to try and punch through it. And the rough here on this hole, I remember, is nasty. So we're gonna take our Predator and just chip hyzer. Not the easiest shot though. Down. Oh, it's good. Oh, it's great. Wow. It's really good. I even clipped the right side of the gap as it was coming down, and it's right in the middle. That is as good as I could have thrown that. Yeah, from here we got a pretty manageable looking up shot. Finishes kind of into the tree line there. We're gonna go shaman, just a little turnover. Ew. Okay. That got away from me up into the tree line. Luckily, it got through, and I think we're pretty close, so we'll take it. Okay, nice tap-in birdie here. We're just hanging around. We're hanging around. I can just feel, I haven't looked at the ratings, but I can feel like we're gonna end up landing right around that 940, 950. Like, that's where I live in these tournaments. Hole 14 is 550 foot par 4. The tee shot, not super complicated. Like, these tee shots aren't really that complicated. We're throwing up the hill. We just have to move a little left, but nothing crazy. I think we're gonna go yeet this time. I think I'd like a little flip going up the hill. Oh my. Man, I'm kind of running out of gas. I needed every ounce of that to get to the just to the crest of the hill there. Maybe I should have hyzered it more to not take on as much of the hill as I did, but I barely made it up there. That's farther than I thought. Yeah, we got some work to do after that shot. We got some work to do. I'd say we got to be close to 350 out. I think I'm going to go with the sweep here. Just kind of go at it. Just kind of go right at it. Gosh, our run-up's kind of uphill though. Not going to get a lot of speed. Got to take that into consideration. Oh, golly. Yeah, that run-up was tough. I am happy to be in the proximity of the basket. The uphill run-up just crushed me. Whatever was left of my legs was taken. Yeah, that was a tough shot. I'm not very good at that uphill shot. It's actually better than I thought. I think this tree helped us out at the end, but we've got a decent look here for bird. Oh, man. And you know, any round of disc golf I play, the difference maker is often just going to be that putter. It's just the difference between, like right now, if the putter was not stupid, I mean, I'd like to think I'd be set 6 or 7, 8 under, perhaps. And instead, we're stuck at like 3, just because we're not making these putts. Because these holes are not hard. Like, I think on my day, I'd love to think I could shred. Hole 15 I remember quite well. It's kind of a tricky shot. You're in this wooded section and it finishes in a clearing, but it's like a low ceiling flex line. You really got to get it over to the right and then let it out. This is gonna be a tough one to play blind because I haven't played it in a long time. We're gonna go Hunterbird here. And the goal is just make sure we get it turning and make sure we keep it low. And then we'll just see what happens. Oh, wow. Well, I made sure I had it turning and I made sure it was low. I just released it straight at the trees. Luckily, it kicked like out in the back into the middle of the fairway, just nowhere near the basket. Honestly, it might be a good thing we left it dreadfully short because the rough surrounding that green, it's actually a pretty cool shot. It's very unique, but like the green is really cool. But if I'd have landed in any one of those wooded areas, like I'd have never known. Good to have a spotter out here. Nice, nice. I'm getting a little better with that new slammer, the softer one. I'm finally starting to figure out the angles. That was a very nice throw. I'll take it. Hey guys, another tap-in par. Welcome to the tap-in par channel. So I was wondering when this hole was going to come in. This is what I would consider the signature hole out here. It's awesome. It is almost 700 foot par 4. And what makes it cool is you have this great mowed fairway. Left is OB. And the entire hole is a big like horseshoe. So the funny thing is, from where I'm standing here, if I look that way, I can basically see across the OB to where the basket is. You just can't reach it. I mean, if you were Simon Lizotte, you probably could. But us pedestrians have to basically just decide how much do we chew off of the corner. Because if you just play it out to this corner, I mean, you have 500 feet left. But if you can take on enough of the corner, you know, you get aggressive, you can get rewarded. So it's a very, very cool hole. I'm not gonna play it crazy aggressive. I'm gonna just throw a hyzer. Just gonna throw this time lapse I don't care about. I'm gonna get I'm gonna take it pretty far inside because I have to get a little left, but you know, I'll use my eyeball rangefinder here. Okay, I did a great job there. I'm in the middle of the fairway. Could I have taken on a little more corner? Maybe another 20 or 30 feet, but it wasn't worth the risk. I'll just show you guys. So this is the corner. You look this way, and way down there, just to the left of that tree line, like the basket's over there. So you just have this crazy horseshoe effect. I'll see if you can really, I don't know. Probably just really can't appreciate it unless you have a drone shot. But I mean, we just walk all the way around this OB. There's the basket. Oh, that'll be a good visual. And it's just out there. It's just such an awesome hole. Took off plenty enough of the corner. I did just realize I called it a horseshoe hole, but it's probably a C, as in for the Claytons, as in Clayton Homes, as in the property we're on. That'd make more sense. Probably ambitious to go for the cast shot here, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see if I can get there. This is really ambitious. This is far. Good rip. Oh, I can't quite tell. I think that might be parked. That was a good 350. That cash can move. Big shout out to those of you who bought some of the cash restock that we recently had at Foundation. I know it sold out pretty quick. We can never quite gauge those sort of things, but don't worry if you didn't get one. There will be at least one more chance to get them this year. And if you come see us at USTGC or the Tour Championship, might have some there as well. Absolutely parked it under the basket, guys. Not throwing this disc yet. What are you waiting for? A restock, you say? Well, that's fair. Well, it is our final par 4 of this very par 4 heavy layout I'm playing. 725 feet. Nice wide open rolling hills. Like I said, I think in the wind this could play tricky because of the long grass on the right and left, but in this weather it's like if I throw this OB, I'm a dummy. So we're gonna go yeet again. Wow, I'm getting fatigued. I'm getting real fatigued. That went all 330. I will say what these tee shots lack in maybe creativity, the upshots are great. We gotta basically carry OB here over that hill to get to the basket, and it is still very far. I mean, I truthfully have to have close to 400 in. That being said, we're gonna let the ether eat. I gotta put everything I have left into this shot. Oh, it's good. Truthfully, I don't know that I could have got much more than that. I at least carried the OB to avoid embarrassment. We'll see if there's a putt or not. 'Twas a valiant effort. We're gonna run the step putt because, you know, it's the end of the round, tournament round. You know, I'm frustrated. I only made like 4 birdies. Well, 5 birdies, 1 bogey. Just a boring round. It's like, you know, we gotta add some pep to this round. Let's make a step putt and either love ourselves or hate ourselves when we have a 30-foot comebacker. Oh. It stayed straight for so long. It's okay, I think it stayed pretty close. That was a good effort. Ooh. I think you could just have some frustrating days like this out here. Because like I said, like especially on this back nine, if you're throwing competent shots, you're not gonna make bogey if you can throw far enough. But like birdie, you gotta get up and down. You still gotta get up and down. All right, so we made it to hole 18, and this is quite an extreme final hole because it is completely blind, but a very cool shot, if that makes sense. So we're standing perched up here. Down below us is like a walking path area and a creek, and we're actually throwing across that over the tree line. You can kind of see maybe a U in the top of the tree line. We're going over that and then trying to crash left. So the goal is to miss the tree lens, but it's a pretty intense blind shot. So we're gonna throw this time lapse we don't care about again. Is that okay? All right, it got over at least. Okay, thank you. All right, well, we landed pin high, about 90 feet away from the basket, and considering that is a completely blind shot I haven't played in years, and all I had was some instructions from some locals that were nearby, I'm happy with that. I feel like I would have had to get very lucky to make birdie here. So Another little layup for par. That's the theme of today. That's a crazy hole though. It's a pretty good time. It'd be really cool if they could cut it through so you could see where you're kind of aiming, but you know, the blind shot always adds a local advantage, I suppose. That does it. We ended up shooting 4 under, just the 1 bogey on the first round there. Rated 222 on UDisc, which like that's pretty, like it's not a terrible round rating for UDisc. It's actually pretty solid. And I don't know what that tells me, because like I left so much out there on this course, and you know, I was a little tired today, and that might have had something to do with it, but I also just missed some dumb putts and threw a couple really bad upshots at the beginning of the round that I shouldn't have. But let me see where that would rate based on the best research I can do here. So based on what I can see from the PDGA, and they don't play a ton of tournaments at this course, and they don't play like this, they play a lot of different layouts, which makes sense, but it looks like that round rates somewhere between 930 and 940, which that makes total sense to me. If you're a local, you can comment down below if you disagree with that. You'll know better than I would, and feel free to let me know where you think it would rate. But I mean, this course is way softer than I made it look. If you throw far and can get hyzers in play, you should shred this back 9. Like realistically, I should shoot between 9 and 12 under every time out here. I think I probably could have rated better, but yeah, just a lot of missed opportunities. But it's a great course. I mean, you saw it today. The front 9 and back 9 are so completely different. It's a bit of a hike, and if you don't like throwing super far, they do have short baskets and some short tees, but you know, it's a lot of land to traverse, but it's a great course. And if you like to just let it rip, the back 9 out here, you can't beat it. So yeah, shout out to the Claytons. Come check it out. I think, you know, number 3 course in Tennessee, I haven't played that much in Tennessee, but like it's a good course, and I think this back 9 being as like scenic as it is really helps as well. It's very pretty out here. So yeah, thanks for watching today's video, and I will see you next week, probably back in Virginia.